polskiej hokej lidze trwają hokejowe wakacje, ale to nie oznacza, że dzieje się niewiele. Wręcz przeciwnie, dzieje się bardzo, bardzo dużo. W niektórych drużynach polskiej hokej ligi odbywa się prawdziwa rewolucja kadrowa. Poniekąd taką rewolucję właśnie w tym momencie przeprowadza szefostwo KH Energii Toruń, które zaczęło swoją rewolucję od wymiany trenera. Po okresie Jurija Czucha nastanie czas Jussiego Tupamaki, czyli Fina, który już w tym sezonie obejmie stery w toruńskiej drużynie. Na kolejne hokejowe Q&A zapraszam właśnie z trenerem KH Energii Toruń, który już za chwilkę odpowie na wasze i nasze pytania. Okay, coach. Hello once again.
Hello.
Thank you for taking part in Planet of Hockey Q&A. Are you nervous before these questions from your fans?
No, I'm not. It's just they're just questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's start then. At the very beginning, I want to ask you about your career as a sportsman. I know that you've been playing hockey for a few years, but that's not the only sport that you've been playing, right?
Yeah, I played also basketball in the Finnish first division and hockey the second division, and yeah, those were my main sports in the Finnish level.
Mm-hmm. Ice hockey is kind of obvious because Finland is well known as a hockey nation. But what about basketball? Is it as popular as ice hockey?
Well, not as popular, but it's really getting more. We now have a really good player, Lauri Markkanen in NBA, and this year a Finnish woman was drafted in the women's NBA second overall. So those players and the results of the national team are really making it more popular. So that's and also I got a brother who is a basketball coach. So I'm talking a lot and also getting some good tips and everything from other sports than hockey too. So it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't want to play hockey or basketball still, or something happened that you couldn't?
More like I started in university at the same time I was still playing. I played basketball, I played hockey. I started university and as a student to study coaching and then I moved more into the coaching already. I started to coach already at a pretty young age, like I think I was around 24 when I started coaching, 23. So I've been coaching for 20 years. So it just came down to that. I was not a full-time professional with basketball or hockey. So it was more of just learning the game at the same time also when I was studying.
Mm-hmm. Except of hockey, I know that you are a big fan of music.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. I know that you really like metal, the heavy music, right?
Well, that's one part. One part is that the old school 70s, 80s, 90s rock, metal, but also lots of other stuff. But that was mainly how I got into music when I was young.
So I'm sure that you will be a friend with Martin Jurzysta from KH Toruń because he really likes this kind of music too.
Okay.
Of course, we send them our greetings. Yeah, there was a question about music from our fans. If you like more music, heavy metal, or the Moomins.
The moon. Actually, I'm not a fan of movies. That's yeah. I know it, and I'm saw the cartoons and everything, but I'm not a big fan. So music is more better for me.
I remember a few years ago when our champions from Poland, GK played in Helsinki in the Champions Hockey League, and yeah, I just went to a shopping mall and there was huge Moomin shop. So it really looked like it's one of your national symbols.
Yeah, it's a big symbol, trademark. People collect the Moomin coffee mugs and stuff like that. So some of them are really collectible, like really expensive and everything. So it's a big thing. They just made a movie from the person that created movies, Tove Jansson. There just came a movie about her life like a couple of months ago. So yeah, it's a big cultural thing here.
Sure. There was also another question from our fans. The question is, what is your common, the most common swear word in Finnish? Maybe we won't translate it, but
most common. It's really depends on the person. But if somebody says in English, "Oh shit," in Finnish it's "Voi paska."
Okay.
So let's leave it at that.
Sure. We will. Okay, so now maybe we'll skip to a hockey question. First of all, a question from your fan is if you prefer more technique or physician players.
I think in a good hockey team you need both of them. Hockey is a contact sport, including a lot of battles. So you need players who can win battles and be physical, but you also need the skill. So that's the way I see it. For me, it's not an either or. It's a combination of both.
Do you like watching the NHL?
To be honest, I don't watch a whole lot. I watch some of the goals and highlights from Finnish players and some maybe playoffs and stuff like that. But during the season, it's you don't have no time to watch. When you do the scouting and prepare your own team for the games, it's pretty much enough. But I watch a little bit, but not a whole lot. The game is different also because of the size of the rink and everything. It's a little bit different than in Europe.
But if you could have in your team any player from NHL, who could it be?
I would first player that comes to my mind would be Alexander Barkov. He would be he's a captain of his team, and he's a really multi-talented guy and a leader. So probably I would start with him.
Okay. Last year there was no World Championship but last time this tournament was played, Finnish national team won gold medal. So do you think that Finnish hockey is at the moment the best in the world?
The thing that I would say is that the Finnish team play is at the best of the world. Finland doesn't have the best players. If we take that tournament, for example, I would say that Sweden and Russia and Canada had better players overall. If you put them and compare just the players, where they play and what kind of statistics they do. Mm-hmm. But the thing that Finnish national teams are known is that the players really work together. They're not individualistic. They play and they are really, everybody has their own role and they play a team game. So I think in that kind of a teamwork, Finland is at the moment at the best. But like I said, overall, the number of players in NHL is higher with Russians and Swedish players, and so that's the way I see it.
I've also heard that you've been working in your career with women's hockey.
Yeah.
That's kind of unusual for the coaches that to coach both men's and women's and men's in all age categories.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a really good learning experience as a young coach, because with women, with let's say it's so that with the juniors and boys, you pretty much tell the players what to do and they do it. They don't question you that much. But with women, they always wanted to know why we do this and why. And for a coach, it's actually makes you better, because you always have to think and have an answer why we do and why we practice like this and why we do this and why we do that. With boys and men, sometimes it's just, you say to them what to do and they say okay and they go do it. They don't question it that much. So in that sense, I see that as a valuable time for me as a coach.
Mm-hmm. Now you can tell your players that they are playing like girls, right?
No, hard to say like that, but that's the way I see the differences between coaching men and women.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next couple of questions will be about your time in Estonia. First of all, did you ever felt or do you feel pressure that from Estonians that their national team must go on to the higher division, or there was no such pressure?
I think the biggest pressure was when I started. The last year they promoted up to Division 1B, where we are right now, the same division that Poland. And as a coach, of course, you didn't want to go back down, because the last almost 7-8 years, they were always coming up and then going down to the second division. And for us, the main goal first was to really have the level so that we can compete every year and stay in the division, which we have done now that we have played the last couple of years. We have competed for the medals. We won the bronze 2 years ago, and then we actually played for promotion. But there is no that kind of a pressure, because everybody knows that right now we're just on the way as a nation in Estonia to get our better players to a better leagues, and somewhere in the future I can see that happening, but to get to the next division, you have to have a really wide base of good players, because in each year you never get the best ones to play, always some injuries and everything. And then you really need, so that after the 20 best, the next 10 will be almost as good. And then you have a chance to really make something happen. So it's a long process with the Estonia, and it continues still. And we are in a good way. Now we got our first player to KHL next year. Our leading player, Robert Roba, is playing in KHL next year. And slow and steady, we're getting players to higher level.
Mm-hmm. You've also worked with their coaches. So what is, in your opinion, the key to be a good hockey coach?
I think it comes down to, first of all, you need to be a leader. The main thing is that you, as a coach, head coach, you're a leader. So the way you communicate, the way you lead, the way you act and behave is first of all. That kind of goes always to the team. So it's about leading. It's about leading in good times and in bad times, and that's where you are tested the most. So leadership is really first thing. It doesn't even matter, because you're leading a group of 25 players, and there's a lot of moving things, and that's the first and foremost the main thing. Second thing is, of course, you have to have knowledge about the game, and experience is also something you can't buy. You just need to put in the work, and you learn as you go. Though maybe I would summarize that those things are really important. Of course, you have to have passion for it. As a coach, you need to have a passion for the game, for teaching, and for organizing the practices and everything. You need to pretty much, whatever you do, you need to love what you do. This is a really tough profession. Every coach gets fired at some point. There is no coach that has never been fired from the job because of not succeeding, winning enough games or whatnot, and there's always going to be pressure and everything. So you gotta love it if you want to do it.
Sure. Not so long ago, Estonian national team played in Katowice in tournament with, for example, Poland. What can you say about this tournament?
Well, actually, we only had, I think, 2 or 3 players from our world championship team there. So it was basically our junior team that we played with. So of course it was a really hard tournament. We knew already going in that it's a tournament that we give a chance to the young players to show their level and everything. But yeah, results wise it was hard, but on the other hand, as a coach, I gained a lot of information from the young players, and I could see where their level is at. But like I said, from 22 players that played last year in the World Championships, only 3 were here. So we were missing a lot of our players. So it was a tournament of evaluating the players, and also it was a good experience for some of the players to realize that how much work they still have to do if they want to be and compete in that level.
So, for example, for Poland, this tournament was something like consolation prize when there was no world championship.
World champion. Yeah.
And for you, it was just some kind of lesson for younger players.
Yeah, we had like, of course, we wanted to come with a little bit more experienced team, but we had players still playing in their league, so they couldn't come. And then we had some players didn't come because of the corona, and that's the thing. We just we just missed our players, and that's how it is.
So when the management from Toruń contacted you, before or after this tournament?
It was during it was a little bit before the tournament. I think a week or so. And we were talking about the tournament. Yeah.
So wasn't it a little bit weird for you to think that in a month or two you will come back to Poland again?
Well, actually, I enjoyed it because, you know, I had never been into Poland before, and now I got the chance to be there in Katowice and just to get the experience a little bit that and you know, we were actually planning to meet there in person, but we couldn't, so we just spoke on the phone and Zoom. But yeah, for me, I think it was really good to see a little bit of Poland first, and then you know, make the decision.
Sure. There was an idea to create a Baltic League with teams from Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. Do you think that it's a good idea?
It would be, well, I'm only speaking from Estonia perspective, but it would be a really good idea to have that kind of a league at some point. But you know, first of all, it always comes down to finances, with money to put that together. But I think in the future that is something that would develop the whole area, the Baltic area, hockey and I think that is a good idea, and I hope it's gonna, you know, materialize and that we can have that league going in a couple of years. But I think Corona little hurt it a lot, all the preparations and everything. It pushed it forward a little bit, but I hope that it becomes a reality in near future.
Actually, there is an idea to create this league, possibly even next season, and Toruń is one of the Polish team that is considered as a team that could play in this league. So possibly you will have possibly
that would be
a challenge.
Yeah, that would be a great thing. That would be a great thing. Also for players, I think always when you can play international games, it's really good. And it doesn't even matter that much the level, but the experience to play against other countries, different styles of hockey, different hockey cultures. It's always good for the players, and also for the fans. It's really interesting to see different teams in different countries.
But do you think the level of teams from these countries is similar, or we could see domination of one or two nations?
Well, Latvia is really the highest ranking thing. I think, of course, they they by far have the best national team, and that's not a contest. Mm-hmm. That's not a competition at this moment. But I know that from every country, if you collect the right kind of players together, you can make a good league and compete. So yeah, I think Latvia is for sure the highest ranking and best country, but I think they would have some local club team also, and I think the level of Latvian local league is not that much higher than if you compare the national teams.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Do you think that work in Toruń will be so far the biggest challenge for you in your career? Or it was, for example, with Estonian national team?
I honestly really don't know at the moment what kind of a challenge it will be. When we have our team together and we see what kind of a team we have and we can put together, of course, results-wise, then I know about the challenge. Mm-hmm. So right now, I think, so I don't even think about it as like that. For sure, everything is a challenge when you start new. This is my third country. I've lived in Estonia, I've lived in Austria, and this is my third country. In Estonia, I learned Estonia. I can speak that fluently. Also, I learned German in Austria, so I think the biggest challenge is to learn Polish.
Okay, so in 1 year we'll test your knowledge about our language.
I hope I can learn that. I'll try for sure, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What is your favorite moment in your career so far?
Well, actually, a couple years ago, we played in front of over 10,000 people with Estonia national team. If we win that game, we're gonna promote up. So even to be in that kind of a game that we have a possibility to, that meant a lot for all the players and the whole country, because we had made work for 5 years towards that. That's something that comes into our mind. It was a special group of those older generation players that are now slowly retiring. Some of them have already retired, but to be able to give them a chance to experience that kind of an atmosphere and to win the medal, I think that's the whole tournament was amazing. It was everything just clicked with the whole team, and also the last game, even though we lost it, but just the atmosphere of that was something special.
Now you will work in Toruń in PHL. Why did you decide to sign a contract with this team?
I was thinking about when I was an assistant coach in Finnish league last year, and I was looking for a head coach job. Every now and then it's good to be an assistant to get a new perspective and learn and stuff like that. But overall, I've always seen myself as a leader and a head coach. And the first thing that I've like I said, I've coached juniors, women. I've coached semi-professional, full professionals, national team. I've been into the highest Finnish league and everything in between. And what I realized is that the most important thing is that the place is a good fit, that that the people want you to be their coach, and you see that place and the challenge as an opportunity to give something to them. I think that's something that I was looking for. And with Toruń, I really felt when I talked with the people, I felt that they wanted someone like me to come there, someone who has experience also for, let's say, developing young players. It's always been a big thing to me, not just to be a coach that coaches in the game, but really to try to make the players better, and especially the local players that really mean a lot to the fans and to the team and the city. So I think that was the biggest reason that I just felt that it's a good match for both sides.
Mm-hmm. But working in a national team on a team in a league is two different things, I guess.
Yeah.
It is. Mm-hmm. So which is harder? Which job is harder, or which job is more interesting in your opinion?
The first 2 years when I was with the national team, I didn't have I only coached our junior national team. We played in the Estonian Liga, and we didn't play that many games. So my job was the first 2 years more of scouting our players. I was traveling in Finland, in Sweden, in all over to watch our players play, and it was different in that sense. After that, I've always had a club team also, and then the national team, both at the same time. National team, it's different because it's a question of 5 games in a tournament. So every single game is really, really, really important. Of course, in a club team, but when you play 40 games, you have a lot more time to think also the development of the players and everything. But when you are in the World Championships and you play 5 games in 7 days, that's not a place to develop players. That's something that you try to get the maximum result out of the team that you have. But when you play a long season, of course you want to win games and succeed, but there's also the game inside the game to develop the players, which means that sometimes you give younger players and the players who want to develop a little bit more playing time. Sometimes you might even lose a game because of that. But in the long run, you have more time to, just develop players. I think that's the biggest difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So now let's get to our final topic of this interview, to the Polish Hockey League and working in Toruń. First of all, did you had any possibility to watch any Polish Hockey League game so far?
Yeah, I watched the playoff games for Toruń last year, just to see a little bit about the players and about the game in general. So I watched some games.
Can you by the amount of games that you watched, can you compare these games to the games from Finnish leagues or the leagues that you've been working so far?
Yeah, I would say that it's a little bit different. If you compare it to Finnish Liga, for example, every team has 4 good lines, and the tempo is really fast. Compared to that, it's not that fast, but I think it's a physical league, and also because of a lot of imports, some of the top teams are really good. they're full of talent, and also with talking the national team, the former national team head coach Tomek Valtonen, who is a friend of mine, and known him for 15 years. So he also said that it's a Polish league right now is a pretty high level league, and you have to be a good player to be able to play in there.
Did you ask Tomek Valtonen about his tips, his opinion about this league?
Yeah. That's the first guy that I asked two players. Two persons. I asked Tomek about the what he thinks about the city of Toruń, first of all, and he said it's a really, really beautiful, amazingly beautiful city, and a good place. And the second thing he said is that this is a high level league, and it would be a good experience for me also. And then I talked with Willem Henrik Koitmaa, who was the national team goalie, who played in Toruń before he got injured 2 years or a year or two ago. So he already knew, and he had also good things to say about the league and Toruń as a place.
Have you got an opportunity to meet or speak to any of your players so far?
Not that much yet. I spoke with one of the Finnish players that played there last year, but so far I haven't talked. We're planning to do it so that when I come, I come already at the end of May. So within a few weeks, that the first week I will meet with the players individually and talk with them in person. I think that's the best way to do it, not on the phone, but when I'm there, so I can see them and talk with them, and we're gonna talk about their expectations of the year and see where they are as players and everything. So that's the plan right now.
Sure. Are you more excited or stressed before coming to Poland?
Well, of course, I'm excited. This is really, it's always good. I love new cultures. I really heard so many good things about Toruń, and I really love to be in and learn new cultures. And that's a really big part of me wanting to be in Europe. I love that. Like I said, the most stress for me is the language, because I know I want to learn it, but the most stressful time is the first couple of months when you start to understand, but it's really hard to talk because you don't have the words. That's basically the thing that I've stressed the most. Other than that, it's of course we got a lot of work to make the roster ready to get the players, and that's also something that we have to work on. But I don't stress that much, because everybody does their best, and then we see how it goes.
Before I asked you about the pressure in working in an Estonian national team, because as one of your fans said, in Toruń there will be a huge pressure, especially after a season when team ended regular season on a third place and entire season on a fifth place. So are you ready to take this pressure and to work with that?
Of course, there's always going to be pressure in this profession. That's the first thing. There is no other way. We just need to make sure that we have a good goal, what we want to do when everybody knows what we want to do there. Like I said, it's a mixture of winning games and making the players better and giving the local players and juniors time. So that's the thing that that is always in the mix. But like I said, pressure is always there. It's not going to change anything for me. I've had pressure all my life in coaching. So the most pressure that you put is the pressure that you put in yourself. So that's always the highest pressure.
Mm-hmm. What is your vision of the team, of the Toruń team?
For sure, I want to play, and we want to be a team that you like to watch. That, for the fans' perspective, it would be a game with high speed, high skill, and it would be creative hockey. That's always, but of course, it always comes down to the players who we all have and who we employ, the imports and everything, and then we gotta find the right way to do that. Overall, that's something that we still will talk about, is what kind of a, let's say, identity we want to build. Mm-hmm. Because there's now a new coach and a little bit of a new start, so to say. So it's always a time to build an identity for the team, and I think the fans and the city really can have their input on that also, because, you know, like I said, we have in Finland, we have, let's say, a city of Pori, which is a harbor city. They do a lot of hard work in the harbors, building ships and everything. And they like their hockey raw. They want to have physical game. They want in that city you have to play a certain way. And then in another city, let's go to Kuopio. They want to play. They pass the puck around. They go up and back, and it's totally different style. But it's not always about the coach and the players, and that's something that I would want to build in Toruń, is to really find out what the city and the people are about, what kind of a people, and if the team relates to that, if the team plays the hockey the way, let's say, that the city breathes, then it's a good mix. If you understand what I'm saying, that's something that I really want to. When I came to Estonia, the first 6 months, I traveled around and I got to know the players and the people there and everything, and after that we made our identity, because I needed to know what kind of what Estonians are. And we had a thing called we had 3 words. We had hard work, because Estonians are really hard workers. They don't have no coffee breaks. In Finland, when the builders start building a house, they start at 7 o'clock a.m. and then they work hour and a half, and they have their first coffee break for 10 minutes. And Estonia, you don't have those. You work. So that's then there was this creativity. They wanted to be creative. They're building their own companies all over. They're, creative people. They don't want to be chained and put into a box. So that was our second thing. And the third thing was kind of a unity of mixed cultures. They have Russian speaking heritage. They have Estonian speaking. We have people that have lived their lives in Sweden that are Estonians. And we wanted to have that as a kind of not a negative thing, but a positive thing, to have that kind of a unity and a mixture. So that's also something that I want to, when I come to Poland and when I come to Toruń, I want to get to know people and players, and I think the best results come when we find really the way that in that city is the best way.
Do you already have long and short-term strategy for this team? I mean, do you know what kind of team do you want to see at the beginning and at the end of the season?
Oh, of course. I think. First of all, I don't know yet which players we're gonna have when we start the season. So the biggest challenge is when after we know what our roster is, from the start of the season to the end of the season, our goal is to be a team that really develops their game, that we can really see that we are a better team at the end of the season than when we started, both individually, the players, and also as a team. That's really for sure going to be the goal.
In an interview for official team website, you mentioned about the hard strategy, which is hard work, equality, attitude, respect, and teamwork, right?
Yeah.
Is that all that we'll see in Toruń team for this season?
That's what you're gonna see always when I coach. Those are the things that, like I said, hard work. There's not you never achieve anything in life without putting yourself into it and working hard. So that's always gonna be there. Equality. I'm gonna treat everybody equally. It doesn't matter what your role is on the team. It doesn't matter if you're a player, equipment manager, bus driver. I'm gonna treat you with respect, and I expect that our players treat everybody also with respect. Attitude is everything. It's about how you approach when things are going bad, when things are going good. Attitude is everything. How you challenge yourself, how to react when things go bad. And that's something that we're gonna work and demand our players and everybody. And then respect is for sure. That's something that is earned. You cannot say for someone that respect me. You gotta earn that, and that's the respect. When you do something and try to do your best, whatever the result is. If you do the best you can and work hard, you have a clear conscience. You know that I made the best that I can, and you earn everybody's respect, no matter if you win or lose. But everybody can see that if you made the best effort. And teamwork, of course, is in this modern world. I think that's one of the biggest challenges, especially for younger generation, is that the world is becoming an individualistic place. Everybody wants to have their own thing, and that's a really big thing that hockey and team sports can offer to the players and persons to develop their character, is to learn how to work as a team, how to sacrifice yourself a little bit for the good of the others and for the good of the team. It's not easy. It doesn't come easily for everybody. Wants always to be the star and have only a big input and everything. But the biggest thing is somebody is willing to make a sacrifice for a team. And that's the biggest thing I think that Finland national team has had the success that they've had with not the best players, but really the teamwork.
In Toruń, you will work with young players, old veterans, and players from different countries. So how you will build your roster for this season? By the level of those players, by their hard work, their attitude? How it's gonna be?
I think the one thing that I talk to the organization already, and when I evaluate players that we want to hire for this season that are not already signed, is character. That's really the first thing. The first thing is not how good player of you are, because of course you have to have level, but the thing in teamwork is that you are a good character, you're a good teammate, you respect people. Like, that's something I told the national team guys and everybody the story. This year, I was responsible for the NHL draft picks, players that are going to get drafted next year in the NHL, and two of them got already drafted this year in Jyväskylä. A really high level top, when the people from NHL on the scouts called me and wanted to talk, the first thing they always ask is how they behave, what kind of a characters are, before they talk about the game. So even in NHL, that's the biggest worry that they have, is that, are the players good characters? Are they honest? What kind of a players? Are they complaining and whining? And after that, they start to talk about the skills. So also when we recruit players, that's a really big thing for me, is to get good character guys, and then good things happen, and then the team becomes better than the players.
You have mentioned about a few Finnish cities and the style of hockey that the fans from these cities prefer. What about you and your work? I mean, when you are coming to a new team, there is always one style of hockey that you prefer, you want that team to play, or you are changing it based on, for example, what players do you have?
Yeah, that's always a key. Like, if you have a slow team, you can't play quick. Simple as that. If you have you just gotta find the way. If you have a really small team, you can't play a game that is based on winning one-on-one battles, for example. If your players are all everybody is really, you don't have big, it's a mixture of seeing the players that you have and figuring out the best way to play with that team within the framework that we want to play. There, you can change from year to year a little bit, but I think in good organizations, there's always going to be the basic style. If we want to play fast hockey, we want to play fast hockey every year. And after that, it's our job to recruit players that can play that style, that can play. I don't have one specific style as a coach. As a person, I'm also a little bit artistic. I don't want to do it the same way every year. I want to have a good mix. I want to, and players have a lot of say on that too, because it's just also leadership is to, when you have a group, is try to find the best way to work with that particular group. It never works that you bring something that you think and just force it on 25 people if the people are not fitting into that system or something. So it requires, and I think that's where it comes handy that I've been in a lot of different places. So I already have a little bit of experience of different cultures and systems and everything.
In different teams, there are different ways of building the roster, the team. Sometimes the management just to recruit the players, and sometimes coach just saying, I want this and this player. How would it be in Toruń? Would you have a big role signing new players?
Yeah, the way we talked about it is that the new players that come in, I have a big role with them because that's something that I can evaluate. With the players that have already played there and are staying in Toruń, let's say, I think there's a little bit more. I have to rely a little bit more on the organization's point of view, because they have better already experience for at least a year with the players, with their character, how they play, how they act, behave. Everything is they have the knowledge. I don't have that much. That's what we talked about already. But I really appreciate the organization that they really want me to have an input on the team, and I really appreciate that. Of course, it's a big thing for a coach that I can have a input. But like I said, for the players that played last year, I can watch videos and everything, but it's really hard for me to compare them and when I don't know how they are and how they act in the game. So I have to rely a lot on the opinion of the organization. But we're talking that almost every day, and I'm working on that. So that's a really good thing.
But is there any nationality that you wish there will be players in Toruń? I mean, maybe you will think that you want to have more Finnish or Estonian players in a team, or it doesn't matter at all?
I think that's not the case. For sure, the optimal thing is, as a new coach, if I can get at least a couple of players that I already know, that I've coached, that I know what they can bring and trust, and they trust me and I trust them. So probably there's going to be a couple of players that I know personally and I have coached, because then I know what to expect out of them and they trust me and it's a good situation. So but the nationalities that's not for me an issue. I've coached so many nationalities. For me, it's all about the character. It's not about what country you come from. And yeah, that's the way I see it.
I guess at this point, you want to give us names of the players that you want to have in your team?
No, I really can't say, because we haven't made any contracts yet. So as soon as we get players signed, hopefully within the next week or two, we're gonna announce some names. But I can't tell before we make any decisions or before the players decide. That's but that's always the thing that coaches and players need to trust each other, and that if you have that kind of a bond already with some players, it's a good thing to start.
So at the end of this interview, what is the thing that you want us to wish you and your team for this season?
Well, if I would say one thing, I hope we stay healthy. I don't think luck has got nothing to do with what luck is. One game you can win or lose with the lucky bounce, but in the long run, luck has got nothing to do with it. So I just hope that whatever roster we can put together is that we stay healthy during the season. If we don't get major injuries or corona or something like that, that would be a blessing for us.
Okay, so that's what I'm sure your fans will wish you for this season.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for this time, and hopefully see you soon in Poland.
Yep. Thank you.